Sisters and brothers, today's readings highlight the primacy of God, whose will is beyond scrutiny. Following His impeccable wisdom and ways, in a manner that is single-hearted, by walking with the Lord, by walking with Jesus, is not a low-cost, risk or low-risk lifetime project. Following the Lord is not an easy task. Following the Lord is not for the faint-hearted. Please find time to pray over the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 33. No wonder, my dear friends, in today's gathering, the Lord requires from us primary allegiance and undivided loyalty. How did He do that? Or how is He doing that now? By making use of the Semitic idiom, hating one's family and hating one's own life. Please realize, this word hate has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with disliking our family members. It has nothing to do with disliking our own life. No. But it has everything to do with preference. The Lord wants us to give Him preferential option. He should be second to none. Anything and anyone who stands in the way in our relationship with Him should be set aside. What a demand, right? No wonder this particular gospel may be entitled The Cost of Discipleship. My dear friends, in today's celebration, the Lord also challenges us to be ready and willing to undergo trials and tribulations, sufferings, difficulties, not for their own sake, but for the sake of the gospel, for the sake of righteousness. And again, He makes use of the imagery of the cross to remind us of that particular truth. Because the image of the cross calls us not to preen or plump for inordinate power, pleasure, and even popularity. I am reminded of a story about a certain pastor who one day discovered that there was a dead dog on the street right in front of his presbytery. And so, as a concerned citizen, he called the sanitation department of the place. He told the one who answered the phone, "Ma'am, this is Reverend so-and-so. I am reporting a dead dog. Please do something about it because this carcass poses a safety hazard to motorists and health hazard to passers-by. I would be most grateful if this would be promptly disposed of." So, unsay imong tanaw na polite, respectful, di ba? Murag maayo man kayang request. Pero ambot unsay nakaon makiigsuunan sa iyang kaistorya, ni kalit maglikoy. Siya, "Father, I believe you have a teaching in the church that one of the corporal works of mercy is to bury the dead. For heaven's sake, can you do a community service and bury it yourself?" May gani ang pare ka mo amudas ang kaugalingon makaigsuunan. Kalma ra po siya mitubag. "Yes, ma'am. That's one of our corporal works of mercy. But please realize also that before we proceed with burying anyone, we need to inform relatives and friends so we can console them and pray for them. That's why I am calling you. Mga kaigsuonan, kinahanglan yun nga andam ta kanunay sa unsay moabot in our process of living out our Christian discipleship. No wonder the Lord also demands from each one of us that we discern carefully the cost and consequences of discipleship. And we need also to assess seriously if we have the necessary resources to pursue configuration to Christ. Nga naman, so as to avoid disappointments and frustrating disasters in the future when the full cost of discipleship begins to unravel with the passing days, the moment we say yes to Him. Munang giwarningan kita. And He also instructs us not to rely solely on our personal assets and temporal goods. Why? These are never enough in our pursuit of Christian discipleship, which remains a gratuitous gift from the Lord. But once received, this becomes a mission to fulfill. So muna guys, go to the nga, we need to detach ourselves from our possessions. These serious exhortations, mga kaigsunan, kung nakabantay mo, these serious exhortations remind us one thing that is, or something that we must never forget. And what is that? As Christians, as believers, we cannot remain as casual faithful. Unsa man ang casual faithful? Kana ganing simply going along, kuyog-kuyog lang, riding on the infectious enthusiasm of the many, of the crowd. Ilabi na din sa tuang nasod nga Pilipinhon nga majority tang mga Katoliko. We cannot just be like that. Discipleship must and always be a personal choice. My dear friends, yes, the cost of discipleship is high, very high. But I would like to dare to say that the cost of not following the Lord is higher. I repeat for emphasis sake, the cost of discipleship is high, but the cost of not following Him is higher. Because the moment we pursue the latter, we end up losing the meaning and purpose of our lives. Not to mention losing the chance of being with Him in all eternity. And so as we receive the Lord a few moments from now, in the silence of our hearts, we tell Him, Almighty Father, you know very well that as a faith community and as individual believers, we have this tendency nowadays to dilute the imperatives of the gospel as a marketing strategy to make Christianity easier to swallow for contemporary people. But you are reminding us, Lord, that remains counterproductive. We must always remember, Lord, with your grace, that faith communities that demand high standards from members most likely will also attract potential members of high standards. Amen.